Hi, Sonia, and welcome back to my art YouTube channel. Today I want to do an exercise with, I feel like I've had a bit of a slow start to today, and while at the weekend I felt like I just did abstracts. That's what I felt I wanted to do for fun. I'm hoping there's some things I want to work on this week. We'll see how it goes, but for Monday I thought, here's an easy, quick exercise just to get going because you want to make something creative, but you don't want to make too many decisions. So what I've got, the only things I think limitations are always good, which we all know about. But for my limitation today, I've just got these little bits of paper. So I'm allowed to use, these are just to cut up old abstract, and then my kids' noughts and crosses, but I thought I can use this stuff as collage fodder, as it were, and then I'll make three pieces in three different sort of sketchbooks on paper, and of three different subjects. So I'm going to start off to loosen up fairly quickly in this altered abstract sketchbook, and the other thing that I am allowing myself to use today is I've got three. I put them at random, but I actually think these are quite good colours for what I'm intending. Three different colours just to paint to get going. So yeah, and then I'm going to do an abstract is my plan. A drawing of I've got a flower book or a botany book, like a quick drawing of a flower, and then hopefully I'll be warmed up enough to attempt some figurative art and to use the gouache as paint and paint some figures that I've got a nice photo of to the kids to use. Okay, so let's get going because I don't want this to take too long. To start with, I need to sit down because I'm standing, find my glue stick. So the nice thing about starting with abstract is, especially in this book, it feels pretty low pressure. So I'm just going to concentrate on kind of like, I'm just gonna, I don't know, see where I kind of actually want to include the sort of noughts and crosses. So in some parts, as I've talked about before, it's kind of like covering up, this was obviously pre-prepared, but covering up the page, so I can start smishing about some paint. Just see where it takes me. And I'm not actually going to, I don't know that the requirement will be to necessarily finish. Like this sketchbook, I'm just going a bit haphazardly. I don't know if I've shown many pages of this. This is something that I'm also kind of trying to work on when I'm by myself. I'm trying to do more art as well, as it were, not by myself, but unfilmed, because I feel there's a freedom in it. It is different from when I do film myself for whatever reason and I'm talking. So yeah, and this is a really nice space to be really playful and get uninhibited. I nearly forgot my limitations, started to pick up a pen, but got some. Now, I could, in theory, mix some of these colours together, but I actually just want to keep them separate. I think the black is handy because I've got black in the marks here. So I feel like I might actually carry on. And this is a terribly old brush that's probably seen better days. So it's quite good for this sort of abstract work. I wasn't going to use the blue, but actually because we've got the blue, it's getting a bit muddy, isn't it? But never mind. Okay, so I feel You could also have a time limit, which I think I've done before, like 3 minutes. I think I did 3-minute warm-ups. But I think I'm going to go fairly quickly this morning anyway, so I'm not sure I need. For example, I'm going to stop this one here because that's good enough for me, and it's just, I feel a little bit more warmed up. Okay, on to the my next project. So I've got this, as I said, I'll show you my reference book. This, I think I actually got it from my middle son, who was into plants at one point, but he doesn't need to be using it. So it's got some really nice illustrations of just plants, and they're just useful, or flowers, and it's just useful to get an idea. And then I thought for this one I would work on paper. This is something I did at the weekend. I was using the Conte crayons that I've got that I don't love. I'm not a hard, I feel like I'm pretty conclusive and I'm not really a hard pastel type of person, but I lay down, I don't know, I just have got this drawing paper, and I really am enjoying having, sometimes not having it necessarily just white. So I lay down the hard pastel, I then smudged it all in with the tissue, and I did actually mean to come over with to cover it with gesso or something to keep it in place, but let's see what happens if I try and paint. So for this I want a bit of a better brush. I need a brush that's, I mean, some of my brushes are showing a little bit of, start off with a, so I'm just going to try and use the paintbrush to, as it were, draw with as well. This exercise could obviously be done, I could have just chosen 3 crayons or 3 markers, but I wanted to use some paint. Why do I want to use the paint? Oh, because I'll show you in my figurative book, but I was in a figurative art sketchbook, but I felt that recently, I'm kind of totally ad-libbing that. But the good thing is, it's not actually looking like the reference, it's not a complete copy. Because if you do it quickly and you painting with a brush, I don't know, it's not really, it's just to get an idea of, oh my gosh. Yeah, I really liked a few of my gouache people sketches, and I was thinking, oh, let's just maybe, I do want to get back into, I'm slowly wanting to warm up to portraits. So that's one of my aims, and different ways of doing portraits as well. Maybe loosen up a bit as well with the figurative art. Okay, now I'm going to attempt the flowers in this picture are yellow, so I could just say that this is a preliminary drawing and then come back in with the correct colours. Let's just see how I feel it turns out, or do I want to use these 3? And then how am I gonna, I might stick on some collage, or I might not. The collage is also handy if you want to cover up anything that goes wrong or you don't like in your pieces, composition. Okay, this is not looking at all like the and I'm kind of holding, I find if I want to go a bit looser, holding the, if I want to go really carefully, sometimes I'm holding the brush near the end, but because I'm trying to get a more loose, playing around with the line, well, in some ways I feel like I actually have more control sometimes the further away. I hold it in a weird way. So you can play around with altering brush grip as well, if you need to experiment. And the other fun thing, well, because you're not keeping, as it were, this isn't being an accurate botanical sketch or meant to be necessarily, I'm not trying to make this, though I'm basing it off a real, obviously real life plant, I can make it my own. So you can, if you feel you want to balance out the composition and add some more flowers or leaves in certain areas, you can. I feel like I'm going to put that, there's a leaf there. I like how. Okay, now the question is, I still want a bit more. Oh gosh. I'm going to stop there. And then let me have a look and see. Because what I will probably do is trim it down, rotor trim it. So I'm going to add this in here, just for some interest, and because I can. And I think I am going to put this one aside and then come back to it and have a think if I want to add colour. Like, do I want this to be realistic and put the yellow and the greens in, or do I want to come in and just come over with pencil, or I don't know, just, or even if I all just consider it as a drawing exercise, trim it and stick it in a sketchbook as an idea for later. So that one is done. Now on to, put this, my desk is, everything's piled precariously. So this is my, got enough room. Let's put that on top of the oil pastels over there. So this is the figurative sketchbook I was talking about, and yeah, so I was really into coloured pencil drawings, but then, when did I do these? I can't remember now. Oh, March. I got into trying to draw or paint just with sometimes it was gouache, sometimes ink, and I liked how those ones turned out. I particularly like this one. So I'm going to have a go. I just need to get the picture on my computer, because that's what I draw off. And I actually think it might be fun to stick, and because the kids did do this, I actually want to stick in like have it, because there's a little bit of memento from when they were using my sketchbook and we were on holiday and they weren't sketching, they just played tic-tac-toe or noughts and crosses in it. But I can use it also as to then put the part of me almost wants to like use pencil, because I've got two figures. There's the middle son sort of standing there. They're on top of hiked up somewhere and they're looking at a view. So I'm just trying to think where I want to put them. I don't want to cheat, I actually just want to, and I'm going to use the, let's try and paint in, kind of want red. I could use the blue. There's some, I think in my head I have a idea. The problem is sometimes when you've got an idea in your head, sometimes I don't know if it's going to work out. Okay, I'm not going to lie, this is also, how is this paintbrush in terms of getting a nice, I feel like I want to really don't want that paintbrush. Which one? This one. This has got a nice point. Okay. I probably should have kept this as collage to collage over if it all goes a little bit wrong. So it's the younger side. So I'm trying to draw his, the wind was blowing. It's going to be a bit of a very loose. I feel like there's, and I have to remind myself, it doesn't matter if, I'm not sure I've done the position great here. You know, if I get it wrong, I get it wrong, and you're going to see the mistakes, but that doesn't matter. It's not too bad actually, the proportions I feel. So he's got a foot. Sometimes I really, oh my gosh, right. The point is, when you get back to doing people, it's kind of practice. So sometimes, often, the sketches aren't great to begin with. Now, I might actually allow myself, because those are black trousers, maybe I will allow a little bit of, I was just going to keep this as a sort of a, I feel like I made his chest puffed out too much. All I have to bring up is the neck here. Oh, whoops, I just went in the black. You know what, let's go in the black because I want to just block in the trousers. In some ways this might have been a better sketch with pencil, but just wanted to see what I could do, as it were, with drawing with paint again. Kind of want to zoom. Sometimes the other handy thing, if you're drawing off your pictures on the computer, you can like zoom in some. You know what, that's actually, the arm needs a bit of adjustment, but just remember it's meant to be a sketch, so actually that's quite cool there. So I'm going to now do over here, I always like drawing people from behind as well, the eldest son. Now I'm going to draw again in red. Don't really know how to describe how I work out proportions and things. I guess after, I guess I am measuring. I don't, obviously there's many different, if you want an accurate, like trying to work out their sizes, what I'm doing, because you can't see the picture, but what I'm doing is I'm looking at where his shoulders on my photo reference, yeah, it's about right. So I guess you're constantly, I think when you do learn for the correct techniques, learn some of the techniques of, you know, measuring, having some sort of guide, things that are guiding you in terms of the proportions or the height of people against one another. Constantly looking back. I know things don't go too well if I'm looking at the paper for too long and I'm not, if I'm too intent on, yeah, just concentrating on the paper in front of me, then that's when I can draw what I want to see as opposed to what there is. And obviously this could go completely wrong because there isn't any margin to really rub out or erase as such. Oh gosh, like that, it's not all completely accurate, and the picture doesn't show his feet, so I'd have to let's make that longer actually, because I think that's more. But I kind of like, now what I'm going to do is quickly fill in, because he's wearing a black, let's go with this brush, black t-shirt, which actually quite handily has a blue, I don't know if I'm going to have time to let this dry and do the blue pattern, because I would add the blue, and then I want to play around with, I don't know how it's going to work. Get a really thin. I don't want this to be too overpowering. I wouldn't mind putting in sort of like the edge, because they were standing sort of looking over this viewpoint. So there's lots of bushes. I kind of want the just make that quite subtle, and then some clouds, whoops, and then the sky. So this is why I was like, this blue might actually work in my favour. I don't have any white to make it light, so it's going to have to be strong. I kind of like that. Now, how does that? Just keep going, making that really, kind of like that effect. Problem is, I'm sitting down, so let's stand up and have a look. Okay, so this one's nearly finished. I'm a bit worried. There's always potential. Sometimes I just want to stop, because then I'm like, well, actually, it's a quick sketch in a sketchbook. It's kind of nice. But let's put a bit of the rocks to give a bit of context to the. At first I was like, oh, maybe I'll just have the two figures and let it be. I'm kind of like sort of a tree bush thing. And then I can make this lighter, so I'm watering it down more for the sort of, there's some hills and sea. Don't necessarily want it to be recognisable, but just a little bit of, Okay, and I think what it needs now is, my final detail is going to be actually to the trousers here, because there were some pockets and creases. Now he actually had a red t-shirt. If I go red, I think that's going to be, I'm trying to be too much. I think the only thing I am going to do is where I made that line there wrong, I want to I'm going to add the bushes more in there, so that, because that's a bit confusing. Okay, and also I'm trying to remind myself this is meant to be a warm-up sketch, and I get too into it. I think that for me is an interesting sketchbook page. I mean, I could even make it more interesting and add a little bit of, I don't think it needs that. I might add the collage more to this section, because I feel like I need to add a bit of a picture in here and then jazz it up a bit with a bit of collage as well. All right then, I don't know if that's of interest to anyone, but this turned out to be, 26 minutes. But this is, so I hope you've had time to draw with me, and here are 3 more ideas for your sketchbook, including limitations and different subjects. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching my video as always, and I will hopefully see you in another one. Bye.